The anniversary, the 50th anniversary of man first walking on the moon is coming up in a couple of days on July 19th. And I want to say that this is a good time for me to share the message that the Bible predicts that man will walk on the moon. It's this prediction, this prophecy, is in Psalm 8, verse 3 and verse 6. Just two little verses. Verse 3 says, "The heavens are the work of God's hands." And then it says, "The moon and the stars God has ordained." And then it says in verse 6 that God gives man dominion over the work of God's hands, which would mean dominion over the heavens, which would include the moon and the stars. And because they've already been specified. Now, the question is, what form will this dominion take? Well, in the very next line it says, God has put all things under man's feet. In other words, the dominion will take the form of man standing on the moon and the stars. Well, let's forget about the stars right now. Let's just go with the moon. That man will stand on the moon. In other words, man will walk on the moon. And now you might say, well, David, the psalmist, who wrote this particular psalm, Psalm 8, he did not have man walking on the moon in mind. Well, let's kick David to the curb. Let's kick David to the curb, because God is the real author of this psalm. And on that basis, the question is, did God have it in mind that this psalm, that the message is that man will walk on the moon? Yes, I will say with a straight face, that is the message that God meant for this psalm to have. And I'm going to write a transcript under the video, so look in the description box for the transcript. And please tell everybody about this prophecy, because it's very, very unknown. And as far as the stars, that lies in the future. Man will walk on the stars. Well, in those days, the days that Moses, well, in the days of David, which was 3,000 years ago, in those days, stars would include planets. So we can say that walking on the stars would simply mean walking on the planets, like Mars, for example. Man will colonize Mars. And the real message of this psalm, Psalm 8, these two verses, verse 3 and verse 6, is that man will colonize space, colonize this galaxy. And look up my other video about that. And I'm sorry they don't have the date for that video. But you have the name Joe Grace. And then put in the subject, in the subject box. I hope that you'll be able to find my videos. YouTube, you know, can be very, very, they can make it hard for people to find videos if YouTube wants to be that way. Anyway, this is all for now, and so I'm going to try to keep this short. It's only 4 minutes.